Shemai! Today I'm going to be trying to review a book. I've tried before. I'll probably try again. We'll see how it goes. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It was one of those ones where as soon as you start reading it, you automatically know that it's going to be one of your favourites. At least it was for me. Just the style of his writing, his kind of satiric, is that the right word? Satirical? I would say his tone is fairly satirical, I believe, if I can call it that. If anyone wants to contradict me on that, then go ahead, because I'm not too sure I'm using the word properly, but anyway, so the way that he talks, the way that he writes, the way that he describes the characters and their thoughts is very kind of like he's commenting on society. So the way that he describes, for example, Lord Henry Wotton, or Harry as he is also called in the book, the way that he kind of writes his thoughts and gets them across, and just the thoughts that he has in general, if you didn't understand, I'm saying that I'm understanding what he's saying, but I may have got the complete wrong end of the stick. But in my opinion, Oscar Wilde has written Lord Henry Wotton in a kind of commentary on society, and saying like, this is what this man believes, and so like this is wrong, basically. So the way that he describes him, if you don't understand where Oscar Wilde is coming from, I think it might come across as fairly arrogant and maybe a bit too philosophical, but equally not very philosophical, because the things that he comes out with are just, the way that I thought about it was they're quotable quotes that are not quotable at all, because the way that he writes it is very romantic and so poetic, and I feel that if Henry was actually saying something good, then it would be a lovely quote. But every time I thought, oh, this sounds really good, it sounds really poetic, it was like, oh wait, no, the thing that he's actually saying isn't very nice at all. I really enjoyed like travelling back in time with this book, and I really like Oscar Wilde's narrative. I also recently watched, what was it called? The Importance of Being Earnest, and I didn't realise until after I'd watched it that it was an Oscar Wilde story. Once I had watched it, I was like, no, I really like the kind of narrative that it's got going, because it's quite mocking, very fun, and the characters, I really like the characters in that. Similarly, last night I watched Dorian Gray, which is the adaptation to film of this lovely book, and I found all the way through that I was just picking at it, because I mean, I loved the book, so I'm going to be picking at the film. But it was interesting to see obviously how the directors changed certain things, added in certain characters, just to kind of make it more of an entertainment piece for film. And then the way that they obviously did the portrait, the picture of Dorian Gray, that was quite interesting. It wasn't how I'd pictured it. I think Ben Barnes, did he do a good job? Overall, probably yes. At the beginning, I mean, you definitely notice him all the way through kind of changing, and that's definitely good, because you've definitely got the kind of character development throughout the film. At the beginning, he starts as this kind of timid, almost shy character, and then as you progress through the film, he just change, but the change is very noticeable and very abrupt, but he does change with the influence of Henry Wotton, which is obviously an important part of the book if you've read the book. But yeah, I definitely prefer the book, but Ben Barnes does an okay job. He's very pretty, and that's basically the main part of being Dorian Gray, is you've got to be a bit pretty. More than a bit pretty, you've got to be quite pretty. You can be very pretty. I found that in the film there was a lot more focus on kind of sex and orgies, and just a lot of that kind of stuff in general. And then so I thought that those kind of things were more subtle in the book. There was just kind of underlying tones. And then obviously, if we know anything about Oscar Wilde, it was that he was a homosexual man in a time where homosexuality was frowned upon, very much so. And so when this book came out, it was initially banned, I believe, because of the undertones of homosexuality. And so to see that kind of portrayed in the film, but not very well, was interesting. In the book, it's so much more subtle, but also kind of underlying throughout the whole book, whereas it only comes in the film in one specific point. And I mean, you could argue that it's all the way through, but you could also argue that it's just a good friendship between Henry Wotton and Dorian Gray. But in the book there's a lot more commentary on men and the beauty of men by men, whereas in the film there isn't. So it's interesting to see the two differences. So I mean, if you're looking for an old worldly LGBT plus book, then I would recommend. To be fair, nothing bad is said about homosexuality in this book because Oscar Wilde was homosexual. I believe. I think he was anyway. I think he's known for being gay and writing about being gay. I need to do some more research. But yeah, I think the film was a bit more of a laugh kind of thing, whereas I did really enjoy the book. So I need to get much better at doing reviews. So maybe I shall try doing some more and see where I go from there. But I generally don't have much to say, apart from that I really like them or I really dislike them. So we shall see. So the word for the day is going to be review. So in Welsh that is adolygiad, and in French it is une critique. So thank you very much for watching. I'm hoping to get some more videos up soon. I don't really know. I think I've filmed a bookshelf tour, so I might get that up. I might also do some more uni-ish videos. So I shall see you when I see you. Hiya!